Hey everyone, it's Imposter Syndrome 1000 with another installment of Revolutions, the ongoing diary of my spins. An installment in which you'll probably learn nothing. We'll see how it goes. Uh, hopefully you're all well. And thank you for joining me on the live stream, interacting with me. You know, there's some of you who I talk to more regularly. So that's all really amazing. So I'm going to get started with the record I was just playing, which is Brain Ticket's first LP, Cottonwood Hill, from 1970. They were a band from Basel in Switzerland, led by flautist Joel what's his name? Van Grudenbroek on the flute and organ. Sorry, it's a very long name. And this is a very trippy, psychedelic, druggy, crap rock record. I guess psychedelic rock, a little bit progressive as well. And notable for its female vocals by Dawn Muia. Very crazy, again, a real hallucination of a record. Listen to the first recording of this Ellis. It's just like, I guess this is like a hype sticker, but written on the back. You know, see the hallucinations of reality rise out of the groove. Join in. You've got your brain ticket now. Hallelujah. This reminds me of the first time I met Chris 4127 Basket in Switzerland, and I bought this record 2012 or something like that. So yes, good memory, fond memory. I'll continue with some other trippy electronic German type records, or not German maybe, but here is the first LP by Ashwa. Ashwa was the band that was formed on the ashes, excuse the pun, of Ashwa Temple by Manu Götzing. I think Harald Grosskopf is on this as well. And this is probably the finest effort. Again, very soothing, transcendental kind of like electronic music with guitars and synths, and it's a beautiful record if you like Tangerine Dream and the like. Anything that's Berlin School, this is most likely going to be your bag. Ocean of Tenderness, the second track, is a cosmic voyage of sorts. So from 1977, from the Berlin band Ashra. I think they were from Berlin. I don't know. I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. In the same kind of vein, very new agey, cosmic, trippy, I also played Steve Hillage. Now I must say those spins, Ashra, Steve Hillage, and the next one, all inspired by my good friend Christopher Cole, John Coltrane 68. And I was having a chat with him, like we had a chat on screen for about 3 hours, and I pulled out all these electronic records and I thought I would play something. So Steve Hillage, as you know, is the one of the musicians in the band Gong. Made lots of sort of psychedelic progressive records, Fish Rising, L, Green. And on this one, decided to change the style, update the style of his music and make some more sort of new agey, trippy, cosmic music with synths and moogs and all sorts of bells and sequences, Fender Rhodes. And this is made largely with his wife, Mika Girodi. So it's a duet effort. It's not a mind-blowing record by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a great record to just zone out to. From 1979, Steve Hillage, Rainbow Dome Music. It's not something that I would really say is essential, but it's a nice record. You can find it. And also inspired by Chris is this Canadian trippy electronic record, very sort of avant-garde with avant-garde leanings by David Pritchard, and it's called Nocturnal Earthworm Stew or Bouillabaisse Nocturne au Ver de Terre. Very interesting title. Released on Island Records. I don't know how Island just went and released this oddity. It's very strange. 1974. Recorded in Toronto. And basically, this guy plays... There's some very, very beautiful mix of electronic music, and he plays the dulcimer. And you got these beautiful strings, like beautiful strings ringing out. It's very trippy and very new agey as well, but he's very influenced, obviously, by people like, Stravinsky and Ornette Coleman, and he has a kind of a aesthetic that's driven by more avant-garde leanings, but it's harp, synths, and lots of dulcimer, beautiful stuff. If you're into that kind of sound, and here is a record that was also filed in my electronic section, like electronic ambient section, and I bought this on re-release in 2013, but I sort of left it aside. It's Woo. Whichever way you are going wrong. They were a band from London, and they made these recordings from 1978, 1981. And for me, when I listen to this, it's like a mix between the Doherty Cullen, the Penguin Cafe Orchestra, and a little bit of Ralph Towner, ECM kind of sound. It's tiny bit of Muzak here and there, but they're beautiful, whimsical recordings, beautiful sort of kind of naive in a way. But if you like Penguin Cafe, this will hit the spot. It's beautiful, beautiful silk screen on the front cover too, which is not the same cover as the original. And with an almost identical cover, not really, but kind of like the square, the rectangle, I revisited the monochrome set Strange Boutique. I think it's their first album. Also a wonderful, wonderful ride. I mean, a very distinct sound. I mean, they were pegged as a sort of like indie pop, post-punk indie pop. They're in that sort of like bracket. This was from released in 1980, but it is very, very, it's got this factory records aesthetic to it. It's if you like your post-punk with an indie sensibility, you would like this, the monochrome set Strange Boutique. There's a song that I really like on this called Ici les enfants, but the opening track as well is amazing. The monochrome set, I presume. It's a universe of its own for me, the monochrome set, Strange Boutique. Another sort of indie pop record, jangle pop, that I've been playing is the Go-Betweens, 16 Lovers Lane. This is the Sarah bracket of this installment. Very, very important album for Sarah, and one of her funeral songs is on this, Quiet Heart. But to me, perfect album. I always say it's like the Australian Smiths, like it's like the closest thing we have to The Queen is Dead, the Go-Betweens. All the songs are killer, For me, my favorite song on the album is probably the last song, Dive for Your Memory. I just think it just says a lot of really deep things, someone longing for someone's love that's gone, and it's heartbreaking, but Quiet Heart, yes, which was played at Sarah's funeral. And You know, The Devil's Eye. Oh, it's a beautiful record. Perfect record, really. Okay, next, I'm gonna open a little slowcore bracket because that's a sound that really resonates with me at the moment. I don't know, must be the depressing sound of lockdown. Um, you know, one of my all-time favorite records is "I See Darkness" by Bonnie Prince Billy, Will Oldham, as his real name goes, from Louisville, Kentucky. A very depressed, downtrodden sound by Will Oldham there. An album from 1999, and instantly the first Will Oldham album that I discovered at the time of release, and that's been sort of with me for all these years. A beautiful, mournful. I mean, the cover says it all. If you listen to the title track, "I See Darkness," or "Death to Everyone," or "Nocturne," "Madeline Mary" is a favorite as well. Just another perfect record, another perfect sequence of song. Really low and really low tempo and very sad, depressed, you know. But you would call this sort of alternative country. I call this slowcore personally because, you know, it's got the aesthetic of a slowcore record. This also is a slowcore record, Low. Trust, which I was playing just earlier today as well. Low is a trio from Minneapolis. It's still making records to this day. This is arguably one of their finest records, just solely for the trio of opening songs. Um, that's how you sing "Amazing Grace." What an amazing song! Canada. Uh, a little special shout out here, and Candy Girl. The beautiful trio of songs. Um, I think this is one of the best records by the band. Obviously, I Could Live in Hope, and you know, Things We Lost in the Fire is really good too. But you know, get your teeth into this. It's very slow music, very melodic, moody, slow burning. It gets you in the guts, you know, like it's just it's slowcore. um, I've been playing a lot of karate recently. It's a band that I've been loving for, you know, many years. Probably like I bought this probably about 50 or I'd say 10, 15 years ago in my local store here, and used to have these records quite easily affordable. You could buy them for nothing. It's a record from Boston, and it's kind of like a mix between post rock, sorry, emo core, slowcore. It reminds me a lot of bands like Slint, but like a sort of a softer version of Slint or Tortoise, with a more sort of edgy kind of sound. Um, Not that Tortoise is not edgy, don't get me wrong, but more sort of like cutting kind of sound. 1997. I highly recommend this record. It's called "In Place of Real Insights," Karate. Check out this beautiful record, Karate. And their first album is also great. This is not a slowcore record, but I've been really digging this, rediscovering this Sharon Van Etten. I can't speak. I can't fucking speak. Sorry, Sharon Van Etten. She's an American singer-songwriter, and she's very much in the mold of someone like Angel Olsen, or a little bit of Saint Vincent, or I don't know, maybe a little Julia Holter esque. I love this record. It's a kind of a concept album on heartbreak. It's like an indie rock sort of indie rock, female vocals, very well arranged, very well produced record on Jaguar from 2014. I much recommend this. It's very easy to get into, a really beautiful record. And I close this slowcore bracket with Songzahaya. Songzahaya. Love and Work, the Lioness Sessions. Now, the Lioness is a 2000s album by Songzahaya, which is basically Jason Molina's project, who passed away a few years ago from alcohol-related organ failure, which is terrible. Anyway, his best record really is probably The Lioness. It's quite different looking to this. This has been repackaged into a box set with, you've got two records, the Lioness, the album, the actual album, and the sessions. And I must say, I wasn't really super keen on getting a big box set like this because it's very bulky and everything. But the songs are just totally amazing from start to finish. It's really nicely pressed. The package is beautiful, and the extras are amazing as well. The extras are almost as good, if not better, than the album itself. So you've got two records. So that's the official one, and it comes with a whole lot of like knickknacks inside, which I don't know if I needed. You've got like this sort of a pocket there, you can see there, and it's full of objects, which I'm not going to pull out, postcards and what have you. I don't really care about that stuff. It's gimmicky, but the extra sessions are excellent. You know, this is very, again, slow burning music, very moody and very depressing. And the music moves so slowly, but if you get into that sound, I just love his voice. His voice gets me. It's like Mark Kozelek from the Red House Painters. The voice is it's so comforting and so, you know, in your face in a way. You know, it feels like it's talking directly to you. It's beautiful. Right, I'm going to continue with probably my favorite album of the moment, of the current time, and maybe because it's locked down again, because, you know, things can get a bit. You can get into a mood, not a depressed mood, but you know what I mean. It's like, and my favorite album of the moment is Berlin by Lou Reed. Absolutely, I almost play it every night. It's kind of a ritual at the moment. 1974 records, produced by Bob Ezrin, with a whole bunch of really amazing musicians, Michael Brecker and Randy Brecker, and you've got even Steve Winwood on this, and you've got, I mean, it's just, the cast is huge. And basically a concept album about a couple, Caroline and Jim, and their, you know, terrible domestic life, where he beats her up, and, you know, she commits suicide. They're going to take the kids away. There's a song called "The Kids" on this, as I said, and you can hear kids screaming in the background. And I told a story on the stream the other day, but apparently Lou Reed told those kids that their mum didn't want to see them anymore, and the kids started crying, and they recorded them for this. How awful! It's just terrible. It's awful. Berlin is a masterpiece from start to finish. I can't speak any higher of record. And my equal favorite obsession record at the moment is The Idiot by Iggy Pop, which is of the same kind of ilk, I'd say, recorded in Berlin. This one, Berlin wasn't recorded in Berlin, but this is recorded in Berlin. This is the renaissance of James Williamson. Hey, The Idiot. He was a bit lost after the Stooges, a bit, in a drug haze, in a bad shape, and he got his shit together back in Berlin with Bowie and Tony Visconti. Partly recorded at Chateau d'Hérouville in France and at Hansa Studio in Berlin with the Bowie band. Carlos Alomar. I think Bowie plays keyboards on this as well. It's night clubbing. My favorite song on this is Baby, though. I think Baby is just perfect. It gives you the Berlin atmosphere then to a T. You can really hear the Berlin sound. And since I'm on this track of thought, another album sort of vaguely related, Before and After Science, which I think is my favorite Eno record. I always go back and forth between that and Taking Tiger Mountain by Strategy, or Another Green World. But I think in the end, I think this one wins. First side is kind of very energetic. You've got No One Receiving and Backwater, and the amazing tribute to the Talking Heads. King's Lead Hat, in case you didn't know, was an anagram of Talking Heads. Really like a pastiche of Talking Heads. But in fact, I think Eno had already invented the Talking Heads, so to speak, on Taking Tiger Mountain by Strategy. When you hear Third Uncle, it's the Talking Heads before the Talking Heads, really. But the second side is where the money is for me. The second side is some of Eno's best songs. Specifically Julie With, which I think is a masterpiece. So soothing and ethereal, and when you hear the lyrics and I am on an ocean, and the incredible By This River. I remember the first time I heard By This River, I was watching an Italian movie called La Stanza del Figlio, the Son's Room. And that movie was a very heartbreaking movie about a couple who lost their 20-year-old son in an accident. And the father goes to a music store to find music that his son used to like, and puts By This River on the CD player, and you've got this amazing scene. Yes, I'll never forget this. This is it's fantastic. The 1971 segment to this week is Time of the Last Persecution by Bill Fay, one of the most perfect singer-songwriter albums ever. Absolutely perfect from start to finish, from Omega Day to Till the Christ Come Back, Don't Let My Marigolds Die, Plan D. Oh gosh, this is just perfect record. Bill Fay, singer-songwriter. His first album was more like a Baroque pop record, Baroque psych. And with this, he moves firmly into a sort of singer-songwriter with a bit of a country rock feel. The band is tight. His songs are just beautiful, heartbreaking stuff. One of my all-time favorite albums, really, without question. If you've never heard Time of the Last Persecution, do yourself a favor and just stop this video, go and play it. And I'll finish with some jazz and world albums, okay? A few more. Rob Mazurek on International Anthem. Fantastic jazz with sort of ambient leanings album. It sounds like the cover. So it's the Exploding Star Orchestra, and it's called Dimensional Stardust. I love their hype stickers. They mean really nothing. I mean, International Anthem, if you're watching this video, you're not. But what the fuck, okay? Cosmic opera of compacted maximalism folds space in prismatic bursts and tersely traverses an infinite spectrum of sonic universal love wave correspondence. What a wank. Brilliant. This has Damon Lux, also of International Anthem fame, Nicole Mitchell, I'll talk about her in a second, on flute. You've got Jeff Barker from Tortoise on guitar. You got Jamie Branch, the fantastic trumpet player. You have a cast of thousands. It's an absolutely just dynamite record. If you are hesitating in International Anthem, you wouldn't do. You could do worse than listening to this record. It's beautiful. And I am going to do a Gimme 10 on International Anthem. So I'm going to talk about those records a bit more and get more content out of this. And I was talking about Nicole Mitchell, and I was playing this record, which is almost the same band as the record I just played, Nicole Mitchell. Mandorla Awakening, number 2, Emerging World. This is an AACM record. AACM is the Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians. It's an association that was formed in Chicago in the 60s, and you've got bands like, people like Anthony Braxton, the Art Ensemble of Chicago, Roscoe Mitchell, Malachi Favors, and a lot. And this is kind of a descendant of that sound, very abstract, free jazz, not for the faint-hearted at times, but very sort of spiritual. Gets very cerebral type of jazz. A lot of sort of meanderings. You have to really focus when you listen to this. Nicole Mitchell, Mandorla Awakening. And as I said, the same band almost as the record that I've just showed you a second ago. Almost done. Okay. Here's an Australian kind of weather report-esque record. A band from Sydney from the 70s, Crossfire, their best album undoubtedly, on Australian Harvest. 1975, from Sydney. And as I said, you've got a bit of a weather report, Return to Forever sound there. Listen to Perverted Pavan, track 4 on side 1, and you can get a sense of that. Australian jazz. I've been championing Australian jazz forever and ever. You should know. And a couple of world music records. So world music, sort of. I don't like world music, but kind of, ethnographic music. Fazi, ellayadi, the Iraqi lute oud player. On Chant du Monde, which is the mythical French label, which released all sorts of these kinds of ethnographic records and protest records. Very moody and, almost spiritual, almost very dense, kind of from the heart songs. I don't speak the language, so obviously it's a bit hard to know what he's saying exactly. But he's a beautiful, beautiful artist and superb oud player, excellent oud player. And his other record, Baghdad, that I've also got, is very highly recommended. And last is an Hindustani record from Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, who plays sarod, and you've got Swapan Chaudhuri on tabla, Half Moon, which is on Meta Language. Love the label on this thing, actually. Meta Language, there we go. So that's the label. Again, a very spiritual, sort of high and mighty kind of listen. I don't think I should buy very many more Indian recordings because I don't really understand them. Like you listen to them, and I've got a few of these, and in the end, they all sort of merge into each other. I should spend time with them more and understand them. Anyway, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this installment, and you can leave me some comments and interact with me and be cool. Love you all. Interact with me. That'd be cool. Okay, I've said that already. I must be getting old.